So good morning, everybody. So again, my name is Tracy Bacon-Hester. I'm the founder, CEO of Design and Renew Career and Finance Coaching. We'll talk a little bit about kind of what that means and what that is in a second, but I wanted to kind of give a little background to who I am. So I have a very diverse background. I have been in the career and technical world. I've worked for Chamber of Commerce. I've worked in higher education, have a few different degrees and qualifications in the sense of coaching. So I'm a Dave Ramsey coach for financial coaching. So I've been through his training program to help clients with their money management. We'll talk a little more about that, but I like to just kind of give the intro of like professional background. My mission is to empower you to find your purpose and live in financial freedom. And then some other fun things about me. So I've got married last year. So I'm married for a little over a year now. I have a little boy who is 7 and is quite the character. Me and him are good buddies. My husband and I like to do some adventurous fun things. We go zip lining, we've been scuba diving and just doing some cool stuff to just kind of explore and enjoy the world that God has given us. So that's a little about us. As far as services go, so these are the 3 options that I do for people. So I offer career coaching, financial coaching, and high school coaching. So I want to kind of break each of these down just to give a vision, because a lot of time people are like, coaching, what is that? Do you have a whistle? Are you on a field yelling at kids? Like what do you mean you're a coach? So when it comes to career coaching, I offer one-on-one customized coaching packages. So what I do is I help people that are in 2 spaces with their career. They're either in a transition period where they've been in their career for a while, but they're really not happy. They don't feel fulfilled. They're really not feeling it at all, and they really don't know what direction to go. So I work with them through career assessments and personality assessments and coaching to really help them find the best path for them and help them get there. So create what is it you need to do to get to this career once we find that best career fit. And then the other aspect of career coaching I do is for those who are in a job that they're not looking to go into a different career. They're looking for fulfillment either in the career they're already in or looking for growth in that career. So I help them with learning more about themselves, their strengths, what they bring to the table, how they work with others, and really kind of helping them be the best version of themselves so that they can be successful in a career. With financial coaching, I have 3 different levels of financial coaching. So the very level 1 is courses. So I'm developing a course right now on budgeting. So it is a very, very in-depth budgeting course. By the end of the video or at the end of the training, people will walk away with a budget, know how to budget, know how to manage their finances, where to put the money that they find in their budget, how to track it, the importance of it, everything you need to know to be successful at budgeting so you can actually manage your money. Then the second level is group coaching. So this is groups of 8 to 10 individuals where they have access to a private Facebook group. There's weekly Q&A sessions, monthly coaching sessions where we kind of work through finances in a group setting. And then the last level is that more customized one-on-one where somebody who's really like, I just need you to work with me in my situation, help me learn how to budget, help me to learn how to pay off all this debt I have or improve my credit score or buy a house or whatever that goal is. I like to point out with financial coaching, it is not investing. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I don't take people's money. I don't invest it for them. What I do is help them in their day-to-day money management, which is more fulfilling to me anyways, because I help them get prepared to then build wealth for their future or be successful overall in life. And then the last thing I work with is high school students. So I work with teens from grades 9 to 12, and I help them with their career exploration. I help them with financial management as well as college planning and readiness. And I do that via workshops or one-on-one coaching. So I have workshops, for instance, this next semester, I will be having a college 101 workshop where it's everything college, the admissions process, financial aid, how to pick the right major and what to do to get involved at college and what to look for and finding the right college and all those things. And then at the second half of the semester, I will be doing a career readiness, which is resume writing and interviewing and professional communication and how to be professional on social media and all those types of things that really plague teenagers these days because they're in a very different generation than I'm sure a lot of us are or were when we were that age group. So that is a lot of what I do. The primary focus of my services, I help women Single women, single moms. I actually was a single mom for quite a long time with my son before I met my husband. Went through a lot of financial hardship, was going to school full time, working 3 jobs. I know the struggles and frustrations that can be. Wasn't eligible for any kind of government assistance because I made just too much money, $50 a month, too much money. And so I know that frustration. So I really have a passion for working with individuals in those situations. Veterans is another really big population close to my heart. I was a military spouse a long time ago, and not anymore, but have family that was served in the military. I've worked a lot with military students when I was in higher education and really helped them kind of find the best fit. And the reality is, in the veteran population, they are the most underemployed population out of any other group in the US, as well as financially. I mean, we know that there's a homeless issue in the veteran community due to finances and career. So I really have a big heart to help that group to overcome those obstacles and be more successful in life once they leave the military. And then teens, obviously, which I talked about, the high school programming. So that is, those are kind of the 3 areas I really focus on here today to talk to you guys about this stuff, because what I'm looking to really do in the future is actually partner with nonprofits that service these individuals, whether it's teenagers, whether it's women, whether it's veterans, and really being able to bring maybe career and finance workshops to those populations to really help that nonprofit really give the best benefit to the folks that they serve. So that is something that I am working towards right now. I love working with these populations. I love nonprofits. I've worked in nonprofits, done a lot of volunteering in nonprofits. And so just being able to give back and really work in these spaces to help these individuals. So that is a little about me. I know I don't know how much time I have, Rachel. If you want to, I have Q&A if anybody wants to ask me any questions about my services. I want to make sure to get any of those things answered for you guys, or any details that you're wanting to know more about.
You have up to 30 minutes, so you're good on time.
Oh, perfect. Okay, awesome. I like blew through this then because I was like, oh, I think I couldn't remember. So, well, what we can do then is I would love to, I'll put this here so you guys can have my contact info for a second. And then what I will do is actually go into the course that I'm going to be offering, because I think that'll be really good. And that's something that's going to be launching the week of Thanksgiving, actually. So here's my contact info. Feel free to grab that and reach out to me with any questions. I'd love to do one-on-ones and connect with everybody, learn more about who you are and what you do and those things. But so I want to talk a little bit more about my financial course. So I don't have it listed yet, so I don't really have a image for it because it's something I'm working through. But what this is going to be, what I can do, actually, give me just a second and let me stop screen share and I will pull up. I have a outline that we can kind of review together to give that scope of what's happening with this course. So the reason I started doing this with the financial coaching, this is actually a very new process for me of having the levels, because initially it was just one-on-one coaching. And the reality was, as a business, I wasn't being able to charge what I needed to as a business, but I wanted to be able to serve the people that couldn't really afford one-on-one coaching. So I was like, okay, what can I do to still really serve these people that I really want to help, but also be able to stay in business? So what do I need to do with that? So came across a coach of my own to really help me with laying out my time management and my business goals and those types of things. And so what was really helpful for that, in doing that, it actually laid out this idea of having these 3 different levels. So the courses would be the most affordable. They're easy, completely self-paced. They'll be fully online, virtual for people to go through those. So that is really where that space is. So let me get this pulled over here. It's my brainstorming document here, but I think this will be cool just because I'm a visual person, so I like to help people with that as well. So for me, the budgeting course, so the direction and everything I wanted to go, but what this is going to be is, it is a course that's going to be a $99 course. However, I will be launching it for the week of Thanksgiving and Christmas as a Black Friday Christmas kind of sale of $59. So it would be a one-time fee. You have access to the course, all the handouts, all the materials. But what I really was trying to think, like, who is this course for? Really the people that are sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, right? They're sick and tired of having stress over finances. They're sick and tired of having nights where they're up, for hours, really stressing over their finances and like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Oh, these bills are due and I just don't have the money, or I can't do any of the things I want to do, or I'm drowning in credit card debt. And just knowing, where do I even start, right? Because we know a lot of people in this world. I'm sure every one of us knows at least one person that's in that situation. And the reality is 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And if COVID showed us anything, it's that people are not in a good place financially, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. They weren't prepared. They don't have an emergency savings. They weren't on a budget. They don't know how to survive financially because of those things. And so having the budget as a course, this is where you start, right? A lot of people want to change their financial situation, but they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. They don't know where should I go? How do I do this? And so this course is that very step one. It is, here is how you do a budget. And so at the end of this, they're going to know how to do a budget. But what's even more important with budgeting is, why are you doing a budget? And so the very beginning of this training is actually going to be laying out smart financial goals. So this isn't, oh, I just want to get rich, right? It's like, no, what's the real motivation? What's that why? With all of my clients, not one of them has had a budget when we started. Not one of them knew where to start with a budget. They didn't know anything about how to budget, besides in their mindset it was, well, budget controls me. It tells me how much I can spend, and oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. Why would I want this? The reality is, a budget is actually you controlling your money. You're telling your money where to go instead of it controlling what you can do with it. And that's what's so powerful about a budget. I have a client right now who's she's in her early 20s and she loves to shop. And she's like, that is my problem. I spend almost $400 a month at Target and Amazon, and I just love shopping. And I'm like, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that like to shop. And so when we were building out her budget, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you don't shop, but how much is a reasonable amount a month to spend on shopping? Give yourself something, but maybe not $400 a month, right? Maybe let's not spend that much on clothes every month. I don't know if your closet would appreciate that. So just working through that, of you can give yourself permission to spend money. And that's what's awesome about a budget. You can say, hey, I'm going to put money aside every month for vacation. Then when you go on vacation, it feels so great to be like, guess what? I didn't put that on a credit card. I didn't have to pay any, get any debt to go on this vacation. I was able to completely cash flow this, and it didn't hurt me. It wasn't like, oh, I spent this money and I shouldn't have. It's like, nope, that's what that money was for. I feel really good about spending it. And so the very beginning of this is really laying out, why are you doing this and what the importance of it is? Because the reality is, if you want to change your money situation, you have to budget. Even millionaires budget. People that are very successful with money, they all have budgets. They don't just say, oh, I think we're going to be good on our utilities and all this, and I'm just going to spend until it tells me I can't spend anymore. No, they have a budget, and that is how they are able to keep their money instead of giving it to everybody else. So I wanted to make sure when I was doing this course that these results and transformations were impactful, because I think of people and I think of my clients and I'm like, what do they want to accomplish, right? What is the end goal for doing this? And obviously stop living paycheck to paycheck, right? I know that's a frustration for a lot of people, and a lot of people are like, well, I just need more money. And a lot of the time you don't need more money. You just need to live under what you actually bring in. And that's not easy. And that's not what our society tells us, right? Our society is always like, more, more, more. You need more, just get more. And oh, it's fine. Oh yeah, you deserve that. Go ahead and buy it, right? That's what society tells us. And the reality is, that's really not very practical, right? Because then that's why we end up in credit card debt. That's why the student loan debt is the way it is. It's insane, because it's like, oh, go to college and figure it out. It's fine. You can go ahead, go take out student loans. You'll find the right major eventually, or maybe you won't, and you'll just drop out of college and go do something else. But it's fine. Totally fine to get into student debt. That's what it's for, right? That's what society tells us. So I'm the weirdo that says, no, that's not right. Even though I was that person before, which is why I do what I do now. I had 80 grand worth of student debt because that's what everybody told me to do. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a single mom. I got to pay my rent. I got to be able to do these things. Sure, I'll take out student loans. Now, knowing all the things I know, I'm like, dang it. I wish somebody would have told me that's not what you have to do. And that's not what you should do. So having that transformation of when you come out done with this course, You're going to have the materials in hand. You're going to know exactly what your financial goals are. You're going to know what you need to do to actually get there through budgeting. And you're going to actually find a pay raise. Every client that I've had, when we get into the budgeting piece, because like I said, none of them have ever had a budget, when they actually start budgeting, they actually give themselves a pay raise because they find money that they didn't know they had because it was just going who knows where, right? A lot of times food. Food's a big one. I have some clients that start out when we started tracking how much they were spending. It was, oh, you spent $600 this month going out to eat, and you still had a grocery budget. How much of that food did go to waste? And it's those things that we don't realize it, right? Those Starbucks runs. That was always what got me. I love my Starbucks, and I love coffee and local coffee shops. And it adds up, right? You're like, oh, it's only a couple dollars here and there. But if you think, oh, I go there 3 times a week, oh, that's about $15. Then there's $30 for 2 weeks, and it just keeps going. At the end of the month, you're like, oh my gosh, I spent almost $100 on coffee. Like, that's crazy. But we don't know that if we're not seeing where our money's going. So that's what I love about budgeting, is you're going to find some money that you didn't know you had. My clients that I just told you guys about, the younger lady that I'm working with, we just had our first 2 sessions of laying out her budget and kind of determining where money's going and where things need to go. We were able to find $471 in her budget by just cutting some expenses down, some of the spending down, and just rearranging some of the money and say, okay, if we can stay on these things, this is how much more money you have now to apply to her $77,000 in student debt she has to pay it off. And it was awesome to see that, because when you budget and you have that extra money, at the end of this, you're going to know what to do with it based on where you're at. If you have debt, that's where that money's going to get it paid off quicker. She has $77,000 worth of debt. Initially, it was going to take her over 10 years to pay all of that off by paying the minimums. And by throwing just that extra $400 a month on that debt, she's going to have it paid off in 6 years now. So she's saving almost $20,000 in interest just by doing that. So it is very vital for people that want to change their financial situation. And so I really wanted to kind of build this course to help that, because a lot of the people that come to me that are ready for that change, I'm not able to charge them the prices that I need to as a business. And I haven't been doing that. And that's where that kind of my coach came in and said, guess what? You're underserving yourself by not charging what you need to. And I'm like, but I don't want to charge high prices. I want to help these people. But then the reality was, well, okay, if you keep doing that, you're going to need at least 60 clients a month in order to even survive financially yourself. And I'm like, okay, reality check. Thank you. I need that. Even as a coach, sometimes we need those things. And so by being able to do this, I can really help those people that maybe they're just not ready for coaching yet. Maybe they can't afford coaching yet, or if they think they can't afford coaching yet, whatever it is, but at least gets them started on the pathway. And then it's going to feed into those other 2 options where group coaching is more affordable than one-on-one coaching if they just need some of that accountability, right? They just need that support group to help them continue on their financial journey to reach those financial goals. By a show of hands, I know I can't see everybody here. Let me see if it'll let me. Who all has heard of Dave Ramsey before? Cool. So I'd like to see. So, so the cool thing about Dave Ramsey, if you know him at all, he talks about the 7 baby steps, right? Of having an emergency fund, paying off your debt, building your emergency fund to a solid emergency fund, then going into retirement, college, and beyond, right? Paying off the house earlier, those things. So what I love to do with clients is work through that process with them, customized to them. But I can now do that with courses where the first one's going to be this budgeting, because everything starts with budgeting. You can't build emergency savings and do anything without budgeting. But I plan to launch further courses in the future on the debt snowball and how that looks for you, and kind of looking at how to calculate those interest rates, and even sharing an Excel document that I use that I love. That's a really cool tool to show how long you can actually pay things off initially. And then if you throw just an extra bit of money, how much faster you can get stuff paid off. Because again, like I said, I'm visual, so it really helps me. I know my client, her mouth like dropped to the floor when I showed her that the other day. She was like, oh my gosh. She's like, seriously, I could save myself at least 4 years. And I'm like, yeah, and that's just based on your low income the way it is right now. Her pay fluctuates, and we base our budget on her lowest paychecks. So anything extra she gets is even more money to throw at it. So it could realistically go down to 4 years where she could have all her debts paid off. So it's definitely fun to be able to do these things and see that, because I feel like a lot of us, when we're in a financial pickle, shall we say, and that financial stress and frustration, we don't really see that light at the end of the tunnel, right? I mean, I think if we talk to most Americans that have any kind of debt, it's, oh, I'm just going to be in debt forever. It is what it is. It's just kind of where I'm at. I'm always going to be under this. I'm always going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And the reality is it's not true, right? And that's what I love. I get to work with my clients because I get to instill hope that there is a better option. There is a possibility. There is some way to get out of this if you work towards it. So that's something that, I mean, I love what I do because I was in these certain situations. Like I said, I was in debt. I had credit cards maxed out. I had to refinance my car, which I don't think most people even do. It's a refinance their house. No, I had to refinance my car because I was like, well, I have some equity in this and I need to consolidate this credit card debt. And I did all these things and learned the hard way and went through the stress and frustration so that I think God was like, you're going to go through this so you can help other people that are going through it, or help people not go through it in the beginning, right? The high school's kind of the preemptive side of like, don't do these things. Here, how do we do this in a smart way so you don't end up like most of the adult population in the US? But then helping those that are through that space. So any questions about the courses or financial coaching or anything like that? I definitely want to make sure to answer any questions you guys have.
I have a couple in the chat. Can you buy packages for gifts, and are the prices per person, or is there a couple's rate?
Yeah, absolutely. So the courses will be completely available. You can purchase. That's actually the plan of launching them with the holidays is, hey, this is a great package, great gift for your loved one, your family member, whoever. For the coaching, the group coaching is individualized. But if there's a couple that would want to do it, it would be based on that couple. So it's kind of couple pricing because they're kind of a team anyways. It would just be like a one price per couple kind of thing. And then individuals is just an individual price. So the pricing for the group coaching, I am still working out because like I said, this is a totally new transition of my business, but I am hoping to have that done when the course launches as well. So that way it's here's the options to see what fits each person best. What else? What other questions?
I was going to ask, what's it look like when you go into schools? Like, does the school hire you and then you just go in and do courses like, like in-service kind of courses, or do you have a class, or how's that look?
Yeah, so the way it's set up right now, and here I'll stop share so I can actually just see you guys. The way it's set up right now is actually partnering with the parents. I'm working with the school districts, but because of COVID this year, it was really kind of wonky and made it really challenging to do anything. Obviously, even getting into the schools is kind of not really happening, but I have a lot of good contacts from my days at Columbus State and such. So I'm working with them. The way I'm actually moving forward with high school coaching, which is really kind of exciting, is for the workshop specifically, I'm going to actually be going out to the business community and asking for sponsorships. Like, can you sponsor a kid to go through this workshop? And then working with the schools for them to actually send me those students. That who's a good fit for this? Who do you think really needs this? And maybe their family can't afford it, or maybe they don't have supportive parents, or whatever that might be. I have sponsorships available, so send me those students. So that's kind of the process it's moving forward to. Up until now, it has been through parents. Parents have hired me. Parents have, paid for the workshops and things. But going forward, I would like to have that partnership with the schools where it's, you just send me the students, I have sponsorships, and some parents can still pay if they want their student to go through it. But a lot of the students that I really want to target in the high schools are those kids that are kind of that middle group, right? You have your kids that are your 4.0 students, they're going to Harvard no matter what anybody tells them or what anybody says, right? They're the top of the line, that's where they're going to go. Guidance counselors work hand in hand with them a ton because they're the parents and the kids that are in the guidance counselor's office all the time. Then you got the kids on the lower end of, they're the, I don't want to say troublemaker in a bad way, but we all know there are some of those teenagers that no matter what you do, no matter what you tell them, they're not going to listen, and they're kind of stuck where they are. But the huge population in the middle of those kids that are your good students, ABC students that have a good drive, they have a good head on their shoulders, they just don't know what to do, right? They don't know where to go, they don't know what direction to head. And they're the most untouched population in high schools by counselors. And a lot of time the teachers have a good relationship with these kids. I know when I was in the high schools a lot, you could just talking to the kids that were in that mindset, and a lot of them didn't have supportive families, or their families didn't go to college, so they don't really know any of that aspect. They're like, well, I just worked my way up, which is great, and that's a good option. But if they want to go to college, they don't know where to start. And so really just kind of helping that population through a partnership with the schools.
Anybody else have any other questions? I feel like I'm the only one asking any, but I wrote down a couple more.
Well, I guess I have a question. So I work at the United Way, and we have a free tax program. So a lot of those folks are not great with always utilizing their refund the best way possible. So what do you mean by trying to work with nonprofits?
Yeah, so something I'm looking to do with nonprofits, and I've talked to a couple, is the way it would vary as far as difference, because I know nonprofits don't have money, right? I know how that works. They don't have a lot of money to bring in things. So it could be either I just come in and do workshops for free every now and then, ideally just being a business, like I'm like, okay, what can we do? So maybe it's going to the business community for sponsorships there too, because again, it's not crazy pricing. And I know a lot of businesses that like to give back and do those types of things. I have a lot of them in my network that would be happy to jump in and sponsor somebody. And the other option too, I know that in the nonprofit world, you can apply for grants. And I know there's a lot of grants out there for career specific stuff, especially in Ohio right now. I know it's a big push for that career readiness, career aspect of things, and the financial side. And so partnering with you guys, I'd be happy to, partner to write a grant or do whatever it took to kind of find that money so that we could come in and partner together to really help the individuals you serve. Because I know that that's a big need and that's where I want to go. It's just hard working out what does that look like, because like I said earlier, as a business, I'm like, I gotta make money, even though I hope to eventually, as I get more established, be able to do stuff for free. But in the meantime, it's one of those realities of, okay, but how can we do this that it's the most affordable way and we can find the money without the nonprofit suffering or anything like that.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Andrea, I was thinking about this when I talked to Tracy earlier about like we did project wise with United Way, about like a class that could come into the school like once a year or whatever. And then I wondered how it would be so that United Way could fund that somehow in different areas, and maybe not like a continuing like once every day, the kid goes to the class, whatever, but like a larger training. So I was thinking about that too, because I think it's really a great idea for kids in school.
Yeah, for sure. Kids definitely need it. It'd be good to have that groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was also thinking about, Tracy, with the Board of DD, we have a lot of individual support coordinators that work directly with families and individuals that need budgeting. They need future planning. They need all of the things that I think that you could probably provide to them. And I thought maybe for us, that might look like a large training at an in-service or something like that, so that the ISCs could kind of learn from you better techniques in teaching, those kind of things. But if not that immediately, families can reach out to you on the information that you gave, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah,
so we could
absolutely.
pass that information along to them too. Okay.
Yes, definitely pass that along. I'm happy to help individuals. And like I said, if it comes across where maybe somebody that a nonprofit maybe refers me somebody, but they're maybe not able to afford a certain service, I can go to the business today. Who wants to sponsor this family? Like, they need this, they want this, they're willing to do what it takes. They just need a little assistance in the front end. And even churches too, I think would be willing to get on board with that. I know I've been trying to work with my church on working about what that would look like. But I think workshops are a really good way to go, especially in the nonprofit world, because it kind of varies out that cost, right? You might take it down, it's like $25 a person or a couple or something like that, which maybe even that individual might be able to come up with that kind of money to go through a day workshop kind of thing. So I think workshops are very helpful because you can help more people at once too.
Yeah, and I think cost-wise too, a lot more people would be willing, and maybe that would lead to more. Like, we start out with this, like you were talking about budgeting, everybody needs that. I know most of the budgeting things, but making myself do them is different.
Yep.
My husband just bought a brand new Jeep. Was it in the budget? No. But like things that you say, we live here, but maybe we should be living here, and how to figure those things out. So yeah, I really appreciate the information. I think that's all the questions that I wrote down. Does anybody else out there have anything else they wanted to ask? I don't think I have any in the chat either. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to look into having you come in as far as an in-service for the board. We just had a fall in service and we have another one for spring, but it might look like a lunch and learn or something like that too, because I think it would be really beneficial. So I'll let you know about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I love doing that stuff, getting to help people financially and all those things. It's very enjoyable.
Where did you say you're located? I don't know if I missed that.
No, I'm in Pickerington. I do most of the stuff virtual right now. Thank you, COVID. But I love to get an opportunity to be in person with some people. And I'm actually hoping to do the high school workshops next semester in person if I can find a location that will allow me to do that. So.
All right. Well, that's good. Thank you so much for being on today. We really appreciate the info. I'm sure people will be in touch. I know I'll be in touch with you soon. And I will do your recording today and then I'll email it to you.
Okay.
And then I want to let everyone else know next Tuesday, Andrea is going to be back on again with her own little segment with Young Professionals of Lancaster. And then Thursday, FCBDD is going to be on with able and stable accounts. So kind of going like that money way. We're going to talk about money again next week. So if you guys know anyone that needs those will be on next week, same time, same place. So thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was good meeting everybody. Have a
too.
good weekend.
Have a good day.
Bye.